Hey, magical yonis. So, today I'm going to be talking about effects of owning your magic. What are some of the effects of owning your magic? What you can expect from people, what you can expect from the people that you once knew, the people coming into your life, all the different kinds of relational effects of owning your magic. Okay, so this may be like a part one series because, again, it's just relational effects. Okay, so there will be effects that may seemingly be quote unquote negative, and there will obviously be the ones that are positive. Okay, so these are just some things that I've noticed as I've stepped into my power, as I've stepped into my radical self-expression, as I stepped into my authority, my self-love, my confidence, all of those things. And I'm aware, and people who also own their magic are aware that people will test these things. People will try these things and these aspects of you to see if you really are what you say that you are, or if you really are about what you say you're about. So yeah, that's the first thing, is that when you own your magic, people will try to test you. People will try to test you to see if you know what you know, if you really have studied what you've studied, if you really have the certifications and the qualifications, if you really are Latina, or if you really are Black, or if you really are Caribbean, or if you really are Asian, if you really are who you say you are. And there's this after effect, there's this like shock factor from people when they find out that you actually are who you say you are and more, and you actually were just being like humble. You actually were just being, like very humble, very modest, maybe seemingly a little bit shy, to really exposing yourself like that. But I think and know that when you are who you say you are, when you are self-validated, when you validate yourself and you're real about your gifts, people are going to test you and try you to really see if you can do what you say you can do. And baby, that's when all that practice, all of that mirror work, all of that showing up in your shadow work, all of that praying, all of that manifesting, all of that embodiment of who you are really starts to come up. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's the first thing. And that will always be a thing, which is why I don't really allow people around me like that. I don't want people around me like that. It's because I know that people who are not self-actualized, or who are confident, or who own their magic, they don't validate themselves. So they get intimidated when they see you in your element, in your power, in your authority, and they will test you to see if you are who you say you are, and they become so kind of like repulsed when they find out that you are this being beyond their understanding. So that's the first thing. The second thing that will happen is that now that you are who you say you are, you have some kind of authority, which is now a positive effect of owning your magic. You have the authority to influence people, hopefully your specific kind of people, the way that you want to, in whatever medium, tactic, or career, or social network that you choose to do so. Again, this is talking about the effects of owning your magic in a social like setting, or in a relational setting, so to say, relational social kind of like settings. Okay, so the good thing about it, or the positive about people testing you, is that you can practice your authority, you can show off your skills, you can brag about who you are, because they're testing it. They want to see that you know how to speak up for yourself. They want to see that you actually can apply the things that you so called are so much certified in, educated in, and experienced in. They want to test you and see. This is a part of human nature. When people like doubt you or your abilities, which I'm sure is very natural for people to doubt other human beings when they don't understand the powers that be within and around. Like, let's use Jesus for example. I'm sure many people doubted him. He was actually doubted time and time and time again. But when Jesus put his works to work and he was healing bodies and healing the blind and creating wine and leading the masses into sovereignty, a closeness to like God, they were shocked. They were eyes wide open, like, wow, he really is who he says he is. Like, people became threatened by him. And that's because Jesus was owning his magic, you know? So when you are who you say you are, people will either love you or hate you. But it's more common that people hate you, dislike you, because majority of people do not own their magic. Majority of people don't know what magic is. They don't know what spirituality is. They don't know what manifestation is. Although we are in a time and a culture where this is becoming more of a trending topic, these things are becoming more of a trending topic. But back in those days, it was kind of like frowned upon, you know what I'm saying? But presently speaking, it still applies today. A lot of people are asleep. A lot of people don't know who they are. A lot of people don't have a connection or relationship to their self, to their bodies, to their mind, to their spirituality. A lot of people are not tapped in the way that they can be, the way that they a fully potentialized human can be. And that's just a part of mass society. A lot of us, I say us because I know that I have work to do as well, but I've done a lot of work. But a lot of us are not tapped in the way we were created to be. I think humans were created to do high capacity projects where we're meant to fulfill and create high capacity tasks within projects, and we're just not, because we don't have all of our needs met, albeit emotional needs, albeit physical needs. A lot of us are stuck in survival. A lot of us don't know how to escape realities, don't know how to escape financial conditions, emotional conditions. We don't have the support that we need in the mental health or even in the health the way that we really need and deserve as human beings. So there's a lot of conditions that get that over empower us and can oppress us. Okay, they can oppress us physically, emotionally, mentally, and of course spiritually. So a lot of people, when they don't realize or can accept that they are being suppressed, that they are under some kind of conditioning, they will immediately judge and doubt and condemn and point the finger and shout and holler at the thing, the source, and or person that is living in a polarity reality of what they are experiencing. But because they don't even understand or have the vernacular or the terminology or the understanding of things like polarity, of things like universal law, of things like energy, quantum mechanics, quantum physics, or just like these little simple things that I've just mentioned, the way that God works, it's like the way that the universe works, the way that supreme beings and deities like Jesus have worked and continue to work, because their energy, their frequency, their name lives on. It's still alive. They doubt and they condemn. A lot of people's consciousness is very limited. It's not connected to the super conscious, which is what allows us to connect to God, which allows us to connect to otherworldly supernatural wisdom and truths and facts, actually. Okay, so there's somewhere in science that says that there's pretty much an unknown amount of information that really can't be explained, and this is why scientists study and test to prove and try things. So even if a scientist has to test and prove and hypothesize things, what more I mean, what is it not to think that a regular human being will not, humans are data driven, they like facts. And so the only way to really prove something to be true is through your example, and the more that you do prove through your example that you are who you say you are, you build influence. And when you consistently show people who you are, who you say you are, you build real influence. You know what I'm saying? And people start to trust you. People start to trust you for whatever it is that you do. Some people trust people to consistently provide entertainment. Some people trust a certain influencer to provide, a specific kind of education. And so, I mean, though education and entertainment are the two most common things you see an influencer do. But I know that there's always a good and a bad and a bad and a good, but even just thinking a good and a bad, I mean, we can stay neutral. We'll stop emotionally attaching ourselves to these things, to these labels, to these words of good and bad. What if it is just all here to serve us? You know what I'm saying? Like some of my darkest, like lowliest, rock bottom times that I have experienced multiple times, I have learned some valuable, priceless lessons that have made me a quote unquote better and stronger human being. It's developed my personality, it's developed my character traits in a whole other level in which I never could have reached had I not gone to them. The older versions of me could not have handled who I am now and who I am growing into without those lessons and those hardships from those quote unquote rock bottom times, from those times where it was just me and solace, and I had to validate myself. So that's one of the positive effects, is that you can actually apply, hopefully confidently, who you say you are, and you will start to build your authority, and you will start to build your influence over people in which you want to assist. I say assist because I think that's the whole point of human beingness, is we're here to serve others, assist others, and hopefully we do that in our work and or the work that we are creating for ourselves. Okay, so that's the first thing. People will test you, and there is a negative effect to that, and there is a positive, which I have just stated. Okay, the second thing is that you will have increased feelings of possibly loneliness, isolation, and depression. Okay, when you're going through those dark night of those souls, when you're going through any kind of spiritual awakening, especially when you are owning your magic, or if you are in the Own Your Magic coven, you are gonna have those moments where you feel lonely, like you can't even or don't even want to talk to your coven members, or you don't even want to talk to anyone. But those are the times and examples where spirit, where your higher self is asking for you to work with your shadow self and integrate the knowledge that you have to become a better version of yourself in human form. Okay, because there's always going to be parts of ourselves that are hidden, that we may not always see, that we may not even like or may not even want to look at, and that's our shadow aspect. But our higher self is the version of us that is I think of like the angel version of ourselves, the one that is wise, the wisest version of us in our highest timeline. Okay, when we're up in that emotional frequency scale, that is a version of us that is most connected to God and will be with us even when we leave this bodily form, when we leave this flesh meat suit. Okay, that is our higher self. Our higher self knows right from wrong. Our higher self is that calming voice and presence within us when you attune yourself to hear from it, that guides us on the quote unquote right or righteous path on our journey. Okay, So yeah, you will have feelings of loneliness, like you actually cannot relate to people or do the things that you want to do. Let's say you were someone who used to go out a lot, drink at bars or party or do certain things. Like you will naturally feel like you don't want to do those things, but it will cause you to feel lonely because now you're more into reserving your energy. Now you're more into reflecting. Now you're more into spiritual baths. Now you're more into reading your word or your scripture or your book, or now you're more into just healing you and connecting to your body. Whereas the people that you once knew are not into those things. They think it's like for entertainment. They don't understand the devotion that you have behind these new hobbies, behind these new interests. And it's because you're owning your magic. You're awakening. You're being called to remember who you are. Okay. And if you in the beginning are consistently like this person where it is just you and you haven't met your new tribe of people yet, it may cause you to go into states of depression. It may cause you to go into states of reminiscing what once was, kind of feeling really kind of upset, angry, hurt for this newfound knowledge that you have, really just kind of maybe even reminiscing in the ignorance is bliss stage. But now that you no longer have ignorance, the bliss is gone, and the opposite of bliss is the polarity of bliss is fear, it's anxiety, it's depression, it's loneliness. But again, everything has its pros and its cons, and the more that you work with these shadow aspects of yourself, the more that you work with these shadow aspects of yourself, the things that once gave you anxiety, the things that once showed up as fear, the things that once showed up in your body, in your mind as depression, it starts to move out. Okay. And being in these states for a long period of time, in any of these states, man, and or woman, I can just say that if you have endured these states for a long time, not only are you obviously a survivor, not only are you obviously gifted with whatever light or power is inside of you, but you are and or we're going through an extreme inner transformation, an extreme internal transformation. And one of the most attractive things and or qualities on a human being or a person is their character, you know. And that's how God judges us. I believe the moment we're out of here and like God and us and God, us and God are like, where are we gonna go next? God's gonna look at our character. God's gonna look at our deeds, you know, our good deeds, our quote unquote bad deeds, the things we could have worked on a lifetime. And then we're gonna like co-create a new contract with God, and God's gonna be like, okay, this is your new contract. And when the opportunity comes about, then you can go into this new life and you can learn these things and apply these things in a way that allows your soul to elevate, that allows human consciousness and universal consciousness to elevate. So I feel like our soul never dies, our spirit never dies, although the flesh does. The one thing that will stay with your soul is your character. So when you build your character, you're owning your magic. Not only are you owning your magic, you're investing in it. And investing in your magic and your soul is so important, because that's the one thing that you can take with you into your next journey, into your next life, is what you have characteristically invested into, because your character is a part of your soul. Your mind, your thoughts, your deeds, your actions, your heart, all of that is your soul. So it is very important to invest in your soul. And investing in your soul means that you're investing in your heart, you're investing in the shadow aspects of you, you're investing in the parts of you that you want to be shown out more in the world. And that's not no easy task for no fool. You know what I'm saying? That's not no task for the weak. You have to be strong-willed, strong-minded, strong-hearted, vocally confident. You know, you got to be able to move and groove the way you need to get through in this world like a slithery snake sometimes. You know what I'm saying? But you got to do what you got to do. It's not easy. Trust me, I know. I've been there. I've got my Pluto and Scorpio, constant deaths and transformations. I'm a Pluto dominant person. So, yeah. I understand the constant transformation, the constant birth, the constant in and outs of depression. And it can be a bitch, but when you get out that bitch, and you're a next level version of yourself, there's nothing better. Like, if there's nothing better, like, you feel completely secure within yourself. You feel like you could completely validate yourself. You feel like you could completely walk into any environment and own the space because you own your magic. Okay? So yeah, that's like the positive effects of owning your magic. And obviously the cons is that you will feel those lower emotional states such as loneliness, anxiety, isolation, and depression. But when you finally choose to override and alchemize the emotions, you step into and embody a next level badass version of yourself. And it's owning your magic, okay? So the next thing I want to talk about with owning your magic and its effects, and I've mentioned this in both the first point and the second point, which is that there is always going to be a polarity. There's always going to be a polarity, and it depends upon which polarity you're looking at that will help you continue on your path and elevation of owning your magic. It's gonna be dependent on, I gotta take a sip of water, hold on. Okay, so like I was saying, it's gonna be dependent upon which viewpoint are you taking. Are you taking the viewpoint of the negative polarity, or are you taking the viewpoint of the positive polarity? That's what's gonna matter. Where do you have your eyes set on? Where are your eyes set on? What is your gaze set on? What is your gaze set on? Okay? Are you set on the negative effects, or are you set on the positive effects? Because if your mind is set on the positive effects of owning your magic, you will always be able to exemplify your authority. You will always be able to influence the people that you want to influence in a positive way. And you will always be confident in yourself because you know your intention is pure. You know that your actions are aligned to your pure intention. You just know. And this knowing is a part of activating your third eye chakra, which deals with knowing yourself. When your eyes are wide open, in between your eyebrows is your pineal glands, okay? When your eyes are wide open, you are able to see through the physical realm and a little deeper in the dream realm as well, okay? You know, people who have an active third eye and a balanced third eye, they dream often. They can fortune tell through their dreams. They have a gift like David from the Bible, okay? And if your gifts are not in that, that's fine. However, you still should be able to have dreams and recall your dreams, because that is a sign of your pineal gland actively working, of that melatonin in your pineal gland. I say pineal. Some people say pineal. I be making up my own words. I don't like the way people be saying it. Just so y'all know, if I'm saying pineal gland wrong, I don't care. That's the way I say it. pineal. But that's a gland that controls the hormones and excretions that allows us to have like that internal clock, knowing when to wake up. It also harmonizes our sleep patterns, okay? And again, it allows us to see in the spiritual realm, in the energetic realm, if you allow yourself to be trained in that way, which is what some people in the spiritual world call clairaudience. I mean, not clairaudience, that's the ability to hear, psychically, telepathically hear divine messages and whatnot. But clairaudience is this divine seeing, okay? Sometimes spirit, you'll hear Christian people say, oh, God delivered a message to me in my dream, or God delivered a message to me while I was reading the Bible, or God revealed this to me through this prophecy or this actualization of something that happened. You know what I'm saying? So that's being able to see. Clairvoyancy is having the gift or the spiritual gift of seeing, okay? So that's an example. And so anyway, like I was saying about polarities, what you choose to see, what you choose to gaze on and focus on is ultimately gonna determine how you've been owning your magic. And we want to consciously own our magic in the gear and in the shift where we experience the good, quote unquote, and positive, beneficial, desired states of our magic, okay? And I want to even push it a bit further and let y'all know that you actually are owning your magic right now. You just may not be aware of it. You just may be so positions in the negative consequences and gazes of things that's all that you're manifesting. Because truthfully, if you found this video or my page or anything with what I do here on Own Your Magic and the Botanica, you definitely are seeing things, are becoming more aware of things, are interested in more of who you are. So you're definitely on the right path. Not everybody is able to see me, find me, discover me. I'm very in the cut for a reason. Nasheen. So if you are finding this, it's because you are someone that either does have their pineal gland open, or already owns their magic, or is en route to confidently owning your magic and your spirituality. Okay, so yeah, we want to shift from focusing on the negative effects to the positive effects. There will always be a polarity. There will always be a quote unquote consequence for doing something good and doing something bad. But I know, and I believe, and I think that it is good and it is right to invest into what you know to be true for you and what you know to be beneficial to you. If you know that praying every day is beneficial to you and that serves you, but it makes Jonah down the street mad that you pray every day, you gotta say fuck them. Because what's your positive consequence, or effects of owning your magic may be someone's negative because they're so insecure. Jonah may be so insecure that you know how to say what you know how to say when you talk to God, when you talk to universe, when you talk to source, and they don't have the verbal confidence or the intellect or the vocabulary or the education that you do. So they just feel so stuck and they don't know how to move that beyond that. And honestly, the best thing that you can do for those kind of people is pity them and pray for them. P&P, because they're so heavily focused on what you have that they can't even see that they have the same potential and ability had they just applied themselves. And that really is what it is. It's knowing when something is something and not giving it any more space or room or potential to be something else. I always feel and say, like, if someone shows you who they are, believe them. If someone does something and you see that they have a way of doing this, believe that that's their system, that that's their pattern of operating as a human being. Like, don't be the fool and be like, oh, I'll wait for another chance, another red flag, or I'll wait for the next boat to come by and save me. No, see what the thing is for what it is. And that's both negative and positive. That's both negative and positive. See the thing for what it is. Don't give it any more space to be anything else, because it's showing you through its action, through its presence of what it is. Then move forward. I think we give things, people, circumstances too much opportunities when it clearly is showing us what it is there for, what it is purposed for. And then when we do that, we waste our own time, we waste our own energy, we waste our own potential and evolvement, or ability to evolve in our magical practices, in our spirituality, in our beingness. I can rant about this for some time, but I need to take another sip of water. And I need to get some more water after I'm done talking about this. Excuse me. So let me say this. When you decide to own your magic, okay, you are literally creating a shift in your energy, and you're creating a shift around you, and you're creating a shift within you. All these shifts that you are creating as a molecular human being who is a part of the universe, you are impacting the universe. You are impacting the world. You are impacting planet Earth. You are impacting the solar system. You are impacting your family. Every little shift you make has a consequence, because something, somebody, somewhere, somehow, energetically is being impacted. Because energy cannot be created, nor can it be destroyed. It's flexible, it's movable, it's transmutative. You have to work with the energy that's there in order for something to shift. And in another video, I will be talking about what is magic, because you can get things to shift by using the elements around you and within you. And in this video, I am and will be talking about working with the magic all around you when we discuss what even is magic and the examples that I use, okay? But yes, so when you own your magic, you are literally a walking trigger for people and for circumstances. It's some powerful shit. It's not to be taken lightly. Not a lot of people know what this is, how to describe it. They just are in it, you know? They're just in it. They're just in it. It's important to know what you are in and what you are in for, because you're creating a shift in energy around you, within you, and this affects the universe, okay? So for now, y'all, that's all I have to share about owning your magic. We've talked about the positive and the negative of people testing you. We've talked about the feelings, the lowly feelings, and or the positive feelings that can be effect to owning your magic. And we talked about polarity. And I would suggest to you to learn more about the law of polarity. You can learn a little bit more about the law of polarity and the universal laws in the Kabbalion. That's the name of the book. You can look it up. The Kabbalion. I've been making up my own words, y'all, but it's K-Y-A-B-A-L-I-O-N. Abilion, I believe, if I'm not spelling it wrong, something along the line. But if you just search that up, the book will come up, and that is a great general synopsis reading that you can get into and learn more about and all that good stuff. Yeah. All right. So again, I have a video coming up about magic and what is it. And if you aren't following me here and on my other platforms or socials, go ahead and do that now. Subscribe here at Own Your Magic with a K on YouTube. You can find me on Instagram and on TikTok as at the Yoni Botanica. I do have some limited edition supplies on there, especially for you novice magical practitioners, you magical yonis who want to dabble more into your crafts. As a magician, I have some potions / intention oil / conjurings that I have created. They pretty much are 3-in-1s, and I have a few available right now for the popular topics of love, aka self-love thug, passion and love and lust. Give me that cat potion, intention oil, womb reiki, which is really good for cleansing, healing, clearing, banishing energy, and working deep within yourself, such as with the inner child. And then I have money empowerment. And that has a beautiful conjuring inside of it from this past blood moon in March of 2025. But yeah, these are all available on my TikTok shop, which again is at the Yoni Botanica, and you can find on my TikTok shop. They are limited edition, but I do offer spiritual consultations as well. I do energy initiations, energy healing initiations for womb reiki. I do this digitally, and I do some advanced readings and consultations as well with the violet flame energy. So if you'd like to learn more, go ahead and follow me on these platforms that I already mentioned. Subscribe, and also find my service offerings at www.theyonibotanica. Okay, y'all. Okay, ladies, magical yonis, and my yoni worshipping gents. Thank you for listening. I do hope this served you. I want you to comment down below any comments or thoughts that you may have. I love to hear back from you. And until next time, my magical yoni friends, stay magical. Peace.
Okay, bye.